My name is Steven Silva, and I guess you would call this the brains behind the Velvet Brick. You're probably asking yourself, what is Velvet Brick? I was reading a book a while back, and it talked about this, without getting religious, a gentleman by the name of Paul. He wanted to speak to some people, but he didn't know how to bring his message without hurting their feelings. So he wrote what's called a velvet covered letter. And so the premise of the Velvet Brick is to try to help people overcome some hurdles and obstacles in their lives. Jason, how are you today, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. You look great, by the way.
Thank you. You
What
as well.
you just turned 41?
I just turned 40. Well,
40. Wow.
uh,
Did people give you a lot of, well, you're 40, it goes all down here from here, blah, 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 blah.
just getting started.
Okay, that's the right answer. That is the right answer, my friend. So first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to participate in the Velvet Brick Summit. I know you and I have talked many times about the mission, and obviously you know about missions. You're in the service and what you do now with your Recovery Equals Freedom home. And so I want to talk to you today about your journey from where you are now to where you were, say, 9 years ago, when things weren't that great.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I had ups and downs growing up as a kid, but the military definitely straightened me out when I left at 17. Made Sergeant Young, came home. Things were fast tracking as far as career, family, married, 2 kids, and competed in triathlons for years. Ended up getting in an accident, getting a blood infection, and my whole life completely changed. It was pretty much, I want to say it was overnight. Took a little bit of time to get to that point where I just couldn't take it anymore. But I struggled for about 7 years, very hopeless. Knowing what I was and where I came from, I never thought in a million years I would be as depressed, suicidal, lonely as I was. It was a very difficult time.
Was there an alcohol addiction, a drug addiction?
Yeah, so a drug addiction. So when I crashed and I got a blood infection, they gave me a prescription for Percocet, and
Okay,
that was take it as needed with pain. But then I realized that everything seemed easier when I was taking it without pain.
correct.
So I had a justification for everything. Hey, if I went to a wedding, why go spend money on alcohol? I could just take a pill.
And then I guess at the low point of your addiction, there was a cost involved, I would assume.
A hefty cost. It starts out where you justify it because it's cheaper to take a pill versus drink alcohol if you were going to have a night out. And then it turned into a $900 a day drug addiction.
A day?
Per day. And there's no days off when you're in active addiction. $900 per day.
And were you working at the time?
Yes. I was working at the time.
You disappeared.
Hold on. My apologies. I was working at the time. Luckily and unluckily, I was working at the time. Luckily from the standpoint that I was still able to provide for my family. Unluckily, I had the means to continue a bad habit.
Wow. That is quite remarkable. And I just want everybody to really understand that. Not $900 a week, $900 a day. You can do the math. For the special people, that's about $5,000 a week. I'll leave it at that. Continue, young man.
Yeah, so I continue to try to do the right thing numerous times. Part of success is failure, and I failed roughly 50 times as far as relapsing was concerned. Keeping up with a $900 a day habit isn't easy for anybody.
No.
Of how successful you are in the business. So you're strapped for cash. You're trying to do the right thing mentally. My apologies. You do what you need to do to try to get ahead, meaning not. And ultimately, the side effects that go along with withdrawal, it's mainly mental, definitely physical. I mean, it attacks every aspect of life. An example would be had insomnia. if you had insomnia, the flu, restless leg syndrome, the sweats, all
Really,
tied up, and still trying to focus on dealing with everyday life.
I couldn't imagine. Now I'm assuming that took effect. It had an effect on your family life.
Absolutely. Um, you know, my oldest son just turned 21 last Thursday. Our relationship is much better, but you know, he was at an age where he kind of understood what was going on.
Correct.
I'm that I can never repair. You know, I'll do
No,
my day to be a better version of myself and a father than I was at that time. But yeah, it was a 7-year span that definitely played a toll on him. His little sister, which is 16, and you know, my wife at the time, which you know, we're divorced. So it was a lot of pain for the family. It affects everybody that's involved.
no, I understand. I mean, you know me. I've had my struggles, and your children, they only see you as they see you, or they saw you. They don't see you as you are, and they'll still have a constant that little thought in their head. And it doesn't matter if you make $1 billion. You know, I needed my dad at that point in time, because those are their formative years. And I'm sure you've rectified it to some extent, and obviously that hopefully they let it go. But that in and of itself, Jason, is something that should be acknowledged. But I think you told me a joke a couple of weeks ago about, you know, when you reach a certain point, people say congratulations. It's just like a pregnant woman. Once she
Yeah.
has a child, they say congratulations, but they don't realize how many times she got screwed over, I guess you'd call it, screwed. But yeah, so continue. I am just really amazed by the story. I really am.
Yeah. So obviously played a toll on everybody involved. You know, going back to try after try, you know, I try to do things a la carte. I try to pick and choose what I wanted to do in recovery, what was suggested that I thought was applicable to my life, instead of taking all the suggestions and doing everything and anything that I could to get better. And I finally ended up, you know, I use analogies all the time. Anybody that spends any time with me, you know, analogy after analogy, it's how I relate to things. So I lost my mother to cancer when she was 44. I was 20. We tried a lot of different things. We tried experimental drugs out of Canada. We tried different diets, anything that gave any type of hope, we would try. And the doctor said, okay, here's 10 things that you can do. So we tried all 10. With drug addiction and all these failed attempts, I would pick 7 or 8 things that I wanted to do instead of the 10 things that I knew I needed to do.
Correct.
And I never got clean. And then finally I got to a point where I was, you know, extremely depressed, hopeless, didn't think my life would be any better. And even using $900, people think, oh, $900 a day of drugs, you know, you must be feeling pretty good. No, you're not feeling good, because your body adapts to it. You're actually the complete opposite of good. You're
right.
Straight misery. So I finally, you know, use that analogy with my mother's situation and, you know, fighting cancer. And I use it every day in the business world too. Like if you got to do 10 things to get the best possible results, you're going to do 10, or you're going to do 8 or
10.
7, 6. You're going to do 10. So I took every suggestion, and I finally got it. You know, on August 4th was 8 years clean from opiate addiction.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. That's awesome. And I know that you're at the pinnacle of success in your business world, but talk a little bit about what your transformation has done for you in this recovery equal freedom home.
So, you know, part of my recovery process was going to a facility, more or less a retreat up in New Hampshire. And I got this idea that I would love to open something a little closer to, you know, the people I care about here in the community. So about, I don't know, 6 years ago, I said, I'm going to do this as soon as I have the money to do it. Well, 5 years ago, I had the money to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't have the balls to do it, lack of better words.
We don't need lack of better words in the Velvet Brick Summit, my friend.
So I signed up for a 75-hour crucible back in November of last year, which was led by former Navy SEALs, ex-Marine. The owner of Fit Body Boot Camp is basically this guy that came up with this program that, you know, get people to flick the switch, basically go from bitch to beast,
right,
and focus on family, fitness, finance, and faith. And I felt like it was something that I needed to get out of my comfort zone, to push myself. So I show up to this place out in Chino Hills, California. 36 people paid 15 grand to do it. 9 of us finished. As soon as I came home, I put a 90-day plan together. Within a couple of weeks, I put an offer in on a property. Unfortunately, that one fell through. I ended up landing the property that Recovery Equals Freedom now resides on, which is 2 5-bedroom colonials on 4 acres of land, down a quarter-mile strip of gravel. As soon as you pull out there, the only thing you see is woods and cranberry bogs. For somebody that's trying to get their head right, be mindful. There's no better, exterior atmosphere that you can be in. Did a 6-figure renovation on the property. Everything's been touched from floors to brand new kitchen, head to toe, granite. I mean, people that are trying to, they don't want to live in a place that they respect and feel good about. And unfortunately, that's not the case for most sober homes, but it was one of my goals. State of the art, full commercial grade gym equipment, meditation, yoga room. And the whole foundation of the program, other than nature, is, fitness, physical and mental, and, incorporating nutrition into it. So every morning the guys come over at 6 a.m. We meditate for 20 minutes. We visualize for 5. We spend another 20 and 15 reading and journaling. And then we go into the exercise room and we bang out an hour of physical exercise. The whole concept.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you this. Now, these gentlemen that come there, because obviously it's not for women. And let me ask you, why is it just for men?
Well, I'd love to open one for women, but unfortunately, early recovery, the last thing you want is men and women together.
You don't even want that. First of all, you don't want that in recovery. What are you talking about?
I'll give the scientific reasons. There's only a few ways to release endorphins.
Gotcha.
And can't use drugs any longer. I do.
I got it. I think everybody can pick up on that, except for the slow people. I'm going to keep saying that too. I don't care what people think. I think that is tremendous. I think that, that something like that is probably much more, because when people think of like, they call it a sober house, and they think of, a sober house is something where, there's 50 people living there and they're still fighting and whatever the case may be. That sounds like more like tranquility, like it's something you'd see on that show Intervention, where they go to this beautiful, serene place, get in touch with your feelings and your emotions, and wonder, because obviously sobriety brings another beast. You have to deal with all the mistakes that you made. You have to address those things. It's called baggage, because the symptoms of your baggage is the alcohol and the drugs. Correct?
Absolutely.
And so that what you're doing is just something that I'm in awe of. And I told you a couple weeks ago, I saw your sister, and I was telling people about the Velvet Brick Summit, and I didn't know she was his sister. I'm talking about you. And she's like, "Hey, that's my brother." I'm like, okay, you should be proud. First of all, I thought I was going to get beat up at the gym.
She texted me right away.
Yeah. She's like, "This guy's at the gym talking about you, Jason." Now tell us a little bit about your success you've been in the car business for quite some time.
I started in the business washing cars at 11 years old. Family was in the business. When I left for the military at 17, I swore I'd never get back in the car business, but somehow, some way, shortly after I came home, I worked for the sheriff's department for a short time when it worked with my school schedule. So I got back in the car business, and here I am, 20 years later. So yes, I have about 25 years of experience in this business.
And your business is much, it's a lot better than most people's business in the car business. You're not just the guy that sits in an office. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Jason.
So I pretty much ran, every department. The last decade or so, I've either been in a general sales manager role, running, sales department, or a general manager role. The last few years, specifically general manager role. In my group, we have 20 stores, basically from New York to Massachusetts. I oversee 4 of them. So I bounce between Westboro, Mass, Warwick, Rhode Island, East Providence, and Brockton. So I'm kind of all over the place, which there's not a lot of groups that have a GM that runs multiple stores. There's usually one GM per store. So it can be a lot, but at the same time, I guess I'm grateful for that, having the opportunity to oversee 4 locations.
Now, these locations, they are one brand, I would assume?
So I oversee 3 Nissan stores and a used car store, which just became Mitsubishi. But we do have Ford, Jeep, Subaru, Ram, Chrysler.
Audi sold me one.
Yeah. BMW, Mazda. Yeah, we have a little bit of everything.
Now, the other thing that you told me a couple weeks ago, that you had a goal that you were going to do financially. Did you reach that goal, Jason?
I've reached a lot of financial goals, and I just keep climbing. You know, I won't get specific, but yes, I had a very big goal before I hit 40, and yes, I did achieve that goal.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this young man has reached a 7-figure income, and I need to really, and I'm not saying this to impress people, just to press upon you, Jason. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Anyhow, there seems to be some technical issue, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll come back. Jason has gone from, at the age of 31, a $900 a day addiction to where he is now. I think it is something that, oh, hey, Jason, how are you?
Technical difficulties.
Is Nissan not paying the bills? What's the problem here?
No, everybody keeps blowing up my phone is the problem.
Oh, yeah. Did you tell people you were busy between 6 and 6:30?
I did not.
Oh, Jason, come on, dude.
Business.
You know, I filled in for you, and I did quite well. And I'm probably just as good looking as you are. So it is what it is. Even though you got that kind of rugged kind of, I can't even think of the person's name, but I probably will by the end of this little spiel. But I was telling people, I said, you know, you really have to understand where this man came from. At 31, he had a $900 a day addiction. To go from that to where you are now, to a 7-figure income, running multiple locations of a store, it's not just, it's a mindset that you chose to have, correct? Because out there, what we're trying to do with this Velvet Brick Summit is to let people know it doesn't matter where you are right now. You could be watching this and say, man, I have, you know, I drink, I can't do anything. You could see Jason did it, and he didn't, it wasn't because of some magic pill. He changed his mind. At the end of the day, and I'm not going to get spiritual, but at the end of the day, it's in the Bible. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. What you plant in your mind, you become. Like Jason, he and I share a same kind of mentality. I'm up every day at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. I don't have to be, but I am. You know what I do? I read, I pray, I meditate, I work. I eat breakfast at 4 a.m. and at the gym at 4:30 a.m. I'm home by 6, in the work truck by 6:30, and I'm either going to Connecticut, Rhode Island, whatever I need to do. That's my day job. My other job is real estate, and my other vision is this, the Velvet Brick Summit. Jason is a very integral part of this, and he will continue to be moving forward because we have some plans for the Velvet Brick Summit. But I know the man's very busy, but I guarantee he'll spend some time either maybe giving some advice on a podcast or maybe even something live. We don't know yet. But I just wanted to let you know, when he was away for those few brief moments, how incredible this young man is. And I'm going to let him finish the story by himself, and I'm going to shut up. How about that?
I appreciate it. So yeah, it is all mindset. It's 100% mindset. Everything we do in life is mindset. You know, it took me a long time to realize we control our own happiness. You can have people in third world countries that are in fear for their life, not wondering when they're going to get food or water next. They can still find a way to be happy. Here in America, you can pretty much have whatever you want as long as you're willing to lower your standards for $65 or less, and yet people are miserable. So it's 100% a mindset. Positive energy spreads like wildfire, just like negative energy does. So if you can get your mind right, be mindful, try to do the next right thing, try to be better than you were yesterday, not compare yourself against somebody else, you will be successful. You know,
and I've been to your dealership, and I've been in that atmosphere with your people that you work with, and they have nothing but high praise for you. And your energy goes all through the building. I mean, I've heard stories that you're in there riding tricycles and doing, you know, all kind of crazy stuff, jumping off desks, but it creates an atmosphere like almost like if you worked at Google. I'm sure your men and women want to come to work. They're excited about coming to work, and that energy feeds off that, and they treat the customers the same way. I work for a particular franchise, and I see it every day. These younger kids, they don't know how to deal with people. And in customer service based business, I told one young man the other day, I said, listen, this is very simplistic what you need to do. When a person comes into this facility, or franchise, this is what I want you to do. I want you to pretend, the word pretend, that you know that this customer is going to die at midnight. See how differently you would treat them. And he looked at me like I had 5 heads. I said, so think about that. If a person comes to the counter and you know they're going to die at midnight, how would you treat them? And he said, I'd probably treat them differently. Thank you. That's all you got to do. So anybody who's going to see this wonderful summit is going to have that same mentality. And if everybody did that every single day, the world would be a better place. There wouldn't be people you walk into somebody's go, oh, I can't stand that guy. How do you know? You never met the man. They might say they don't like you. I know they say they don't like me. You don't know me. You knew me, but you don't know me. Make sense?
100%.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page. Continue. I'm sorry. I get super excited. It's not that I'm angry. I'm just really passionate because and I know you knew me about a year and a half ago when I was an ass. And I was just going through some stuff and wouldn't take it. I think I even asked you to borrow money. And you're like, dude, are you high? Well, yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But people have to understand it. You can go through, you have to fail. You have to go through some stuff. And most people won't even dare to go through stuff. Life is a game, and everybody's just sitting on the sideline, cheering everybody else on, and they're being comfortable. They get to work on Monday and they talk about the weekend. And then when the weekend comes, they talk about the next weekend. And the weekend, all it is a glimpse of the real life that you really want.
Right.
But everybody's too busy, watching TV or recording shows. Hey, did you watch The Walking Dead? Yeah, I'm looking at them right now with this stupid conversation.
Right.
So I know in your environment where you're at, I know those conversations don't go on. I know that. Am I wrong?
Yeah, everybody has their ups and downs, but you try to keep moving towards the next right thing. It's
no. I agree. Like I said, I hate getting so excited, but to have someone like you on this summit, it helps me to get some, I guess you call it credibility. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like, Jason? Yeah, I know Jason very well. That's why he's here. That's why I asked him to be on this damn thing. Because he's got a story to tell. And you and I played that little trick on Facebook, didn't we?
Yeah.
We said, hey, Jason, let's put your Recovery Equals Freedom on there and see how many likes we get. I think you got 10? And then we scrolled through Facebook and some woman had a bikini on, said she lost 5 pounds. She got 700 likes. This is where we're at in society. Someone like Jason who can help you, whether it be addiction, whatever the case may be, to help you get through the way you need to get through and make a breakthrough, whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And all the men on this particular summit range from the age of 30 to 78. So there really is no excuse for anyone to have an issue. So when we're finished kicking you and punching you and smacking you in the head with the velvet brick, it's going to be fun. And ladies and gentlemen, just know that you can reach out to myself or PM Jason, and you can order a velvet brick. They're in production as we speak, and they will mail to your house, and it's an actual brick, and you can use it for whatever you choose to use it. I don't want you to be throwing it at people because that nowadays someone's going to record you and you could get arrested. I'm just saying. But Jason, finish, young man, because I know you got a business to run.
Yeah. So what I'll leave you with is the biggest thing that helped me transform, other than my morning routine, because I truly believe you win your morning, you win your day. Set your mind right for the entire stream of things that are going to come flying your way throughout business, family, friends, drama, whatever it is. But be impeccable with your word. If you can follow through on what you say 100% of the time, and there's going to be times when you just can't, it's impossible. But if you have a choice, you need to follow through on it. I'll give one quick example, something that just happened last month, but this is something that I do quite often. I put myself in these positions where I say yes before I really think about what I'm saying yes to, and then I got to follow through on it.
Is that like the Velvet Brick Summit?
This is one of them. I have a sore throat. I feel horrible right now.
Oh, you look great. Stop your whining. You sound like a chick.
And I was going to call you and say, hey, can we do it another day? But no, that wouldn't be me. That's not what I do.
I would have showed up and found you.
Right, exactly. That too. So going back to a few months back, a friend of mine that lives in Narragansett said, hey, I'm going to put on this event for 9/11 to pay our tribute to, the people that lost their lives in the tower. He says, I'm getting flags made with every first responder's name that lost their lives and another flag with every name of every person that lost their lives in the towers themselves. And then an American flag. So no idea who was going to be carrying what. He said, weighted vest is optional. I said, okay, well, A weighted vest for me is not optional because that means somebody's going to do it, and that means I have to do it, right? So he puts the thing together, shows me a map. It's 23 miles with
Oh
a weight
Lord.
with a 911 push-ups.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
He said, I don't care if I break my foot. I'm showing up and I'm doing it. I tried getting out of a concert that I pre-booked the night before, right? So I end up going to the concert because I can't get out of it. I go to bed at 1:40. I get up at 4 a.m. I drive to Narragansett. I start a 23-mile run at 6 a.m. with a 15-pound weighted vest. Me and only one other guy had a vest on. There was 6 people total. Carried the flag the entire time. Did the 911 push-ups. Realized I had bronchitis while I did it. I had my Whoop band tracking my fitness. My recovery score was an 11 that morning, which is usually a 93, 94. But again, I could have called them and said, hey, I feel horrible. I'm not doing it. But I did it. Went home, took an ice bath, ended up on an antibiotic. But I did the 23 miles, the 911 push-ups, and followed through on what I said I was going to do. So my words of advice are, if you want to change what's going on in your life, when you say you're going to do something, those words leave your lips. You need to follow through on it.
You know what? I concur, and I am so impressed with you. I think I could do 9 push-ups. 9 push-ups, maybe nine push-ups 11 times.
You can do 9/11.
I know I could. I know I could. That excuse me. You're so amazing, and I don't say that to impress you, just to press upon you. Everybody's like, well, yeah, because people are gonna have an excuse why they can't do what you just did. Does that make sense? And because I remember this thing that I wrote down in my journal probably 5 years ago that my coach said to keep a journal, and it's BMICG. In order for you to get better, you must become better. In order for things to improve, you must improve. In order for things to change, you must change. In order for things to grow, you must grow. In order for things to become more, you must become more. And a lot of people don't want to do what we're doing right now. They just want to stay comfortable and don't break any kind of patterns, if that makes sense. And I'm not belittling people who have what they call the normal life. Monday through Friday, I work. Saturday, we go to Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond. The Saturday afternoon, if we're lucky, we'll go out to dinner. And then maybe Saturday night, we'll come home, we might have relations. And then Sunday, we're going to go to the in-laws, we're going to watch football, and we're going to come home, it's going to be 5. And we're going to get pissy because we got to go to a job that we friggin' hate. Does that sound about 97% right about most American people?
Yeah, probably 80%.
I'm not wrong, because I read, and that's not the newspaper. These are facts, as the younger generation would say. Facts. It is what it is. But again, Jason, we're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna do it big. And you know what? We may not change a million lives, but again, if we change one life, bro, and their trajectory and where they're going, I'll be super stoked. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
That's my only goal. Same thing with Recovery Equals Freedom. I have 15 beds. If I change one life, that's all I care about.
I feel you, my man. I'm going to get down there too and check this place out. So let me know when you're there. I'll come through. I just want to see this magnificent place, because the other thing that's beautiful about what we're doing is that you gentlemen have tremendous success. You can refer each other to each other's business, and it puts you out on a different light, because people probably only know you as the GM of Ford dealerships. They don't know what you do on the other aspect of your life. And it's about changing people's lives and saying, listen, there are options out there. You know what I mean? Because people live in that little bubble, 25 to 65. And God forbid if they die at 45. Oh, did you hear he died at 45? Yeah, and what, were you guaranteed 65? You're not. You're not guaranteed tomorrow at all. I already know. I've already died once already. I had to be intubated. You know what intubated means, ladies and gentlemen? I died. And I was in the same boat as Jason. I'm like, God, I'm done. I'm all set. I've had it. Take me. He's like, nope. I'm going to keep you here and make you suffer a little more, because the suffering is going to make you stronger, better, and better. Did I think I'll come out looking like this? More handsome, bigger, stronger, faster? Hell no. And I'm older than he is. I know he looks older than I am, but it's one of those things. Listen, my friend, I really appreciate you. And I can say this with confidence and passion. I love you and I appreciate you, and we're going to do great things.
Love you too, brother. I appreciate the invite for sure.
All right. I do appreciate you. Have a great evening, and we will talk again soon, my friend.
You too.
Namaste. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know that the story of Jason, Jason's issue was tied to baggage, and he addressed his baggage. That way, he addressed his symptoms of his baggage and overcame his addiction. Moving forward, we'll have tremendous stories of gentlemen who've overcome many different things that are relatable to you and people like you, the people that you know. I want you to be clear and understand that you are able to reach out to these people when we're done, but we're not done. We're just getting started. You're going to be able to see us on podcasts. We might even invite you to tell your story, because everybody has a story. I have a story, and someday I'll tell my story, but this isn't about me. This is about me helping others through the Velvet Brick Summit. Thank you, and have an amazing evening. Namaste.